I'm Kristen Depew, News Director for the Jefferson County Post. This is my editorial. Those that are familiar with my editorials know that my view of the county meetings come from the cheap seats, which are the second row, far right section of the courtroom. I hear and see a lot from that location. This week, what I heard and saw was concerning even to me. And I've witnessed a variety of political antics in the past 16 years as a neutral observer. Election season in Jefferson County can run the gambit, from benign to hot and controversial, depending on the offices and the candidates on the ballot. But this election season degraded into something particularly distasteful and nasty, with mudslinging and accusations that would put even Washington to shame. Face-to-face encounters were sometimes hot and disrespectful, but it was social media that upped the ante, with what, in my opinion, was libelous disregard for truth or the reputation of what were generally decent people seeking to serve in public office. I had hoped that cooler heads and voices would prevail when the ballots were cast, and the votes could be counted, but apparently that hasn't happened. With the formation of Facebook sites dedicated to creating discord and other groups that are apparently seeking political control, truth has taken a backseat to gossip and manipulation of facts and people. Monday evening's meeting was a continuation of the same, with the exception that it was particularly hateful and directed at one target, County Commission Chair Carmichael. A handful of citizens spoke during the citizen comment section regarding the resignation of the Jefferson County Veteran Service Officer. The Veteran Service Office has never been, prior to this, nor should it ever be, political. It's a service office. A county department and its operations and involvement should be beyond reproach. Every county employee is certainly empowered and entitled to vote in whatever way they want, including the Veteran Service Office. But to create or promote unrest among the groups that they serve, or to post in the name of the county office that they serve, to further a political agenda or influence an election is beyond unprofessional. In the private sector where most of us work, it would result in termination. But let me be perfectly clear. The resignation of the Veteran Service Officer was not a termination or a coerced resignation. It was a decision on the part of the employee to make a professional change, and happens in business and in civil or public service every day across the United States. Monday evening, a handful of citizens accused Chairman Carmichael of terminating the employment of the Veteran Service Officer, with some suggesting ethical considerations regarding Carmichael for her termination. I'm being kind in my choice of words. They were not. So here is the condensed, documented version of what happened. The Veteran Service Officer tendered her resignation on June the 23rd, with an effective date of July the 15th. She followed with an email stating that she had not heard from the mayor or the commission chair Carmichael on June the 25th, and on June the 26th, a letter from the commission chair accepted her resignation and informed her that her services would not be required in the office after June the 30th, but that she would be paid full salary and benefits until July the 15th. Per state law, the county commission hires and terminates the Veteran Service Officer. At the end of 2025, it was discussed in county commission that as chair, Carmichael would act as the day-to-day supervisor for the Veteran Service Office. Continuation of her salary and benefits means she was still on the payroll with the county until July the 15th. In her resignation letter, the Veteran Service Officer stated that the assistant VSO was fully certified and up to date on all current activities, so the transitions would be smooth with no impact on services. A new fiscal year begins in Jefferson County on June the 30th. The service would continue without impact, and the state was allowed time to quickly assess the office and return to business as usual in the new fiscal year. There was nothing sinister, no alternative motive, and no gain for Chairman Carmichael. It was simply a supervision decision in how to best conduct the transfer of office duties while remaining fair to the existing employee. So it bears the question, why all the outrage over a simple personnel action initiated by the employee? My opinion is that when an election becomes less about different priorities and ideas and more about general power grabs, voters' mandates mean very little. And please be aware that there were many mandates delivered in this election. and only one current commissioner running for re-election was unseated, and he has been reported to be very unwell. It would appear that with the county mayor's race now off the table, the attention has turned to the commission chairman's seat, and Carmichael is in the crosshairs. Again, a power-seeking group trying to spin a problem where none exists for their own unknown agenda. And they are doing it on the backs of our own veterans, which we as a community should be outraged about. I find it interesting that the chairman himself is a veteran and has willingly met with and answered the questions of local veterans who were misled in recent months. The bottom line is that we the people should always expect transparency and action for the good of our community from our elected officials. We should also carefully vet the sources of our information. Rarely do people or organizations use despairing social media or public opportunity to bash elected officials with untruths or suppositions without an agenda of their own. As I said, the election is over. A mandate was delivered by the people. Creating a fight where none exists makes me wonder what is the end goal and who is really leading the charge.